Hello guys, welcome to Study IQ. I'm Safir. In this session, we're going to talk about a new chapter that is Socio-Religious Reform Movements. And in this session, I'll be focusing on Rajaram Mohan Roy and the informations related to Rajaram Mohan Roy. And you can expect a question in mains, you can expect a question in prelims related to Brahmotsabha and other contribution of Rajaram Mohan Roy also. So guys, if you see Rajaram Mohan Roy, he's called as father of modern India, and connected to that also they will ask you question. So if you need to answer that, you need to know the contribution. So we will be talking about all the contribution, the literary contribution, and everything will be discussed. But before that, let me talk about that 19th century India, because if we need to understand how these people have contributed, all the socio-religious reformers, whether today we will be discussing about Rajaram Mohan Roy, tomorrow I'll be talking, in the next session I'll be talking about Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. So in fact, this is a reformist movement from Hindu side, Hindu religion, Rajaram Mohan Roy, and then same parallel you will see after some time when it comes to Islam, that is a Ligad movement, which is again a reformist movement. And then also we will talk about revivalist movement, like one in Islam, that is Wahhabi movement, and one in Hinduism, that is Arya Samaj. So if we need to have a very good knowledge about this, or if we need to understand why these people are doing all those things, then you need to understand the situations in India at that point of time. So that 19th century India. Okay. So if you see the problems in Indian society, we can actually, now if you see the problems, I can divide that into some general problems that we will see across religion and across region, and then there are some specific problems which you will see in some religion or in some region or in some particular caste. So we had certain general problems, like if you see educational system which was not updated, rather outdated. If you see Muslim system, that is when it came during the time of Mughal, it was very much modern, but after that something which was modern in 13th and 14th century, when we are talking about 19th century, it's not modern, right? So it's not updated. Again, if you talk about Hindu system, it's not updated perhaps from Gupta period onwards. So there are problems with the educational system. And then superstitious belief. Okay, so this is again common problem across all religion, not only among Hinduism, among all religion, superstitious beliefs. And then other issue that we can see in general, that is gender discrimination. Okay, so I just want to tell you there are certain general problems, and then there are some specific problems. Like if you see a specific caste, like upper caste Hindu, Sati. Sati is a problem. Sati, if you see, it's confined to a region also, North India, not in South India, and confined to caste. That's why I'm talking this under specific. So I can't generalize it. It is a problem in Hindu system. It's a particular issue, something which need to be solved among a particular caste and in particular region. So the upper caste Hindus, right? Sati. I'll be discussing about Sati later, because Rajaram Mohan Roy's most important contribution is related to that. So we will be discussing about that. And then another issues like widow remarriage issue. So that I will be discussing later. Widow Remarriage Act. I'll be talking about Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar also. And then we will discuss about Dalhousie period. There will be Widow Remarriage Act will be passed in 1956, and that also contributed towards 1857 revolt, because these people started believing, the upper caste Hindus. You have passed anti-Sati resolution, Lord William Bentinck along with Rajaram Mohan Roy's contribution, and then Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar contribution is there. Lord Dalhousie passed Widow Remarriage Act. Because of these, then female infanticide was there, and ban on female infanticide was there during Lord Hardinge's time. So female infanticide is something which is practiced among Rajput caste, considered to be a Kshatriya caste. Okay, so you can even write that also, female infanticide. So this is again a specific problem, right? They don't prefer to have a female child, so female infanticide. So all these things has been introduced by British, like anti-Sati resolution, Widow Remarriage Act, and then ban on female infanticide, ban on human sacrifice, which was among a particular tribe, Gonds. That's not connected with this anyway. So the upper caste Hindus started believing that the Britishers are unnecessarily interfering in their religion. So that is actually one of the most important socio-religious reason for 1857 revolt. I'll be discussing that under 1857 revolt. So if we see, another problem is like child marriage in the northern parts of India. So that's actually again a regional issue. So what I want to tell you is I want to give you an idea about that 19th century India. So this is the situation and these are the problems. So if we need to understand the socio-religious reforms in 19th century, we need to think from their perspective. We may not think certain issues as problems now, but we have to see it from their perspective. Okay, so understand things in their perspective. That is the reason why I'm talking about this. Something which you consider as not a problem now may be a big problem then, and something which was not a problem then may be a big problem now. So we will have to understand the situation. We'll have to be in their shoe to understand the reforms. Okay, so let's start with Raja Ram Mohan Roy, or even before that, there were two types of movement. I'll be discussing about that also. There are reformist movement and then there are revivalist movement. So when I talk about reformist movement, these are the people who responded with the time and the scientific temper. So time was changing, so you are getting into modern. So they have responded with time. And you need to change. So they are looking for change, and and the scientific temper. On the other hand, if you see revivalist, they thought that they are totally against this Western system. They are thinking that the Western system is ruining the Indian tradition, and they want to go back to Indian tradition, or they want to go back to Vedas, or if you see Wahhabi movement, they want to go back to Arab during the time of caliphs. Okay, so this is what their idea is all about. A revivalist, reviving the tradition. So reformist, on one hand, you can see they responded with time and scientific temper. You can write if you want, since I'm discussing. I will not be writing everything that I'm discussing. Okay, and revivalists are those people who started thinking that Western system is totally ruining the Indian culture, and they started reviving the Indian customs and tradition of ancient and medieval past. So these are the two different types of movement. And you can see both reformist and revivalist movement among both Hindus as well as Islam. So reformist movement among Hindus is what we are going to discuss today. That is Brahmotsabha. Raja Ram Mohan Roy was a social reformer. So reformist movement. And Islam, we will be talking about Aligarh movement, and we will be discussing the contribution of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. Okay, and then revivalist movement. Guys, we will be talking about one from Islam, that is Wahhabi movement, and the other from Hinduism, that is Arya Samaj. Now, apart from this, there are certain other movements, and there are other important personalities like Swami Vivekananda, then Theosophical Society. Okay, all those will also be covered in this Satyashodhak Samaj, and all those things will be covered along with these four most important movements. So, guys, I think we can start with Raja Ram Mohan Roy, right? So the first question and the most important question is why he is called as father of modern India. So we will be starting with Raja Ram Mohan Roy. Okay, so now one of the most important understanding that we Indians have, or we always connect modern with Western. Whatever is Western is modern, or whatever is modern is Western. But is that really correct? No, right? So what do you mean by modern, or what do you mean by modernity? First, we need to understand this to know whether you can call Raja Ram Mohan Roy as father of modern India or not. So modernity is actually a mindset. It's about rational thinking. Are you thinking rationally, logically? Are you questioning things based on logic and evidence and reason? Then it can be considered as modern. It's not that you are wearing Levi's jeans and t-shirts and all. That's not the case. I'm talking about it as a mindset. So modernity is a mindset. So are you started thinking logically? Are you started questioning things based on evidence and reason? And that's when rationality, that's what scientific temper, these are the things that we use to understand modern. Okay, so that is what I want to tell you here. And it evolves from rational thinking. So guys, never consider modern as equal to Western. For example, you use all modern gadgets, whatever is available in the market, but can we consider you as a modern person if you're not able to treat your baby girl as equal to baby boy, or if you're not able to respect women and all? Maybe you live a kind of modern life, but your mindset is still traditional, that patriarchal mindset and all, right? So what I want to tell you is, when I talk about modernity, I mean this as a mindset. It's about rational thinking, it's about scientific temper, it's about questioning things based on logic and reason. You can't simply accept things as it is. You will start questioning always. You will think rationally always, okay? So, and that's the first and most important thing you need to know. And Rajaram Mohan Roy was the first person who started questioning things, who started thinking logically, first among the Indians. So that's why we consider him as father of modern India. There was no other reason. And in fact, in 2012 mains, there was a question that Lord Dalhousie could be considered as father of modern India. Discuss. They can ask you to discuss, comment, critically analyze, etc. But guys, again, Lord Dalhousie would also be considered as father of modern India. It's not that Rajaram Mohan Roy should not be considered as father of modern India because of Dalhousie's contribution, and Dalhousie should be considered as father of modern India. No, I mean to say Dalhousie could also be qualified or to be considered as father of modern India because of his contribution. Now, why we consider Rajaram Mohan Roy as father of modern India? Okay, this is one thing. And then you may be talking about Sati, right? He abolished Sati. In fact, he did not abolish Sati. He did some voluntary work he has been done, and it was the anti-Sati resolution was actually passed by the Governor General of India, Lord William Bentinck. Okay, Governor General of Bengal at that time. Later, 1833 Charter Act, he became Governor General of India. So it was Lord William Bentinck. Okay, and then again some literary contribution and all other things are there, academic works and all was there. But on the other hand, if you see Dalhousie, instead of the Sati, there is something like widow remarriage, and he implemented it. Okay, so whose stance, who's having more weightage if you compare this two? Obviously, Sati, widow remarriage, Dalhousie will take that because he is a person who implemented that despite all the opposition from the higher caste. Again, if you talk about this literary contribution, academic contribution, etc., during Dalhousie's time, there is something called as Wood's Dispatch, which is known as Magna Carta of modern Indian education. And there is no parallel when it comes to education to Wood's Dispatch. So who stands superior over there? Again, Dalhousie. Now, apart from that, there are a lot of other developments like postal things, and then the PWD department and the hill stations, and a lot of other developments you will see during Dalhousie's time. So, in all probable case, you can consider Dalhousie also as father of modern India. Obviously, Rajaram Mohan Roy from the Indian side, and maybe Dalhousie from the English side. So we can have two fathers, one English father and one Indian father, something like that. Okay, so that's how you need to write your answer. It's not that he is an English and we need to support only Indian. No, if you know history, you should be supporting based on the facts which is available to you. You should not be, biased to one person, right? He is an English, so we are an Indian, so we are biased against you, and we will be supporting only Indians. No, that's not the case. We don't have anything to support Rajaram Mohan Roy actually. If you try to compare, rather it is better not to compare. Talk only about the contribution of Dalhousie and tell that he could also be considered as father of modern India. Okay, so that was actually the question. That's not part of discussion now, but I just told you about that. We will talk a little bit about Rajaram Mohan Roy now. So Rajaram Mohan Roy, a very well educated person, and he learned modern as well as classical language, and then he have good knowledge about Arabic, Sanskrit. So he know all these languages. He know Persian, okay, and then Hebrew. Original Bible is actually written in this language, Hebrew, okay. So and original Vedas and Upanishads is written in Sanskrit. Bible is written in Hebrew. Quran is written in Arabic. So he studied all these languages because he want to understand religion and the essence of religion rather than reading it from the translations. If you see, most of this Vedas and Upanishads and all those things are poetic in nature. So if you try to read the translation, it's not only the content, the charm is also lost. So if you have that knowledge in Sanskrit, or if you have knowledge in Hebrew, if you have knowledge in Arabic, you can actually understand the three different religions and the essence of that religion from the original works. So that's the reason why he studied and he learned these languages. You need to understand the religion means you have to read the original religious textbooks or the scriptures. So I hope that is very clear. And he had very good understanding about all religions, and he have seen the good things from each religion, and he have taken and accepted the good things from each of these religions. And if you look into that, he was actually following humanity from Christianity. Okay, so that means he was ready to accept the good things from each religion. Every religion talk about good things only, but there are some specific, very good, things you can take from different religion. So Christianity, you will see humanity, and from Islam, you can take equality. Everyone is considered equal. Hinduism, you see spirituality. So he also studied some great poets like Hafiz and Rumi, the Persian poets, and he also studied some modern day thinkers like Voltaire, Rousseau, who brought French Revolution in 1789. And you will be studying about Voltaire, Rousseau, Montesquieu and all when you are studying your world history, and you will also have some good knowledge about that. So guys, this Rajaram Mohan Roy was born in 1772, and he was very much influenced by this modern thinkers like Voltaire, Rousseau, Montesquieu and French Revolution. Maybe 1789, if you see, he was in the age of 17. So he might have very badly influenced by these thinkers, right? So, see, in his opinion, if you have good knowledge about other religion and culture, you will automatically start respecting other religion and culture, and there won't be any hostility or enmity with other religion and culture. So that is why he want to know about other religion, okay? And if you are ready to accept that religion, or if you are ready to accept the other views also, then it is going to be really good. It won't be creating any problem. And presently, what we are facing, what is the problem? We don't have knowledge about other religion. Forget about other religion. We don't have knowledge about our own religion. So I am a Hindu, but I don't know what is written in Vedas and Upanishads. I am a Christian, but I don't know what is written in Bible. I am a Muslim, I don't know what is written in Quran and Hadith. So if I don't know about my own religion, how can I know about other religion? So how will I start respecting other religion? And if you are not having any respect about other religion, how it is going to, survive? It will be difficult, right? So in his opinion, you should have good knowledge about other religions, so automatically you will start respecting other religion. And you can see, guys, accidentally we became Hindus and Muslims. We are born for someone who was a Hindu or a Muslim, and that's why we became Hindu and Muslim. Otherwise, see, just as you cannot choose who's to be a father, you cannot have any choice with respect to your class and with respect to your religion and with respect to your caste. So you're born for that person, and we belong to that person's religion and that person's caste, just like that. So that's how it is, right? So now let's talk about Rajaram Mohan Roy. Guys, I may be able to discuss 5 more minutes only, and then we will be continuing it in the next session. Rajaram Mohan Roy, I may not be able to complete here. I will be doing it in the next session. So he literally triggered a movement, that is the movement of mind, okay? And it influenced a major part of India, not just Bengal. So movement of mind. And in 1814, guys, these facts are very important. He founded Atmiya Sabha in Calcutta. Atmiya Sabha in Calcutta. Okay, and in 1818, his friend David Harre, who was an Anglo-Indian, he founded Hindu College at Calcutta. Not by Rajaram Mohan Roy. Rajaram Mohan Roy is actually a teacher, professor, lecturer. So his friend David Harry founded this. Rajaram Mohan Roy used to teach history and literature here. And in 1825, he founded Vedanta College in Calcutta, and he introduced 2 new subjects. So this is one of his academic contribution, something which you need to remember. So 2 new subjects, mechanics and Voltaire's philosophy. In fact, the French philosophy, right? So you can see the change which he brought in education. And just before I told you, one of the most important problems that we were facing in 19th century was the education system, which was not updated, rather outdated. And I've told you about the issue with Muslim education, which was not updated from Mughal period, and Hindu system, which is very pathetic. It was not updated perhaps from Gupta period onwards. So in like mechanics, you can see it is related to science. So he have introduced science, and this one is political science. So both were very much rational. So if you get a question on why he is considered as father of modern India, not only confined to Sati, you have to talk about movement of mind, you have to talk about academic contribution, you have to talk about his ideas. He read those religious textbooks from the original, religious textbooks, and he have taken, or he was willing to accept the good things. And that's the mindset that I'm talking about. That's what you mean by rationality. That's what you mean by scientific temper, right? He was willing, even though he's a Hindu, he was willing to accept equality from Islam. And what is the most important problem in Hindu system? It is hierarchy, right? Even within Hindu system, there are further division on the basis of caste. And he will be discussing about that later. Since you are worshipping multiple gods, that is actually the reason for hierarchy. So you should only worship one god. That shows equality. So equality he got from Islam. That means he is ready to respect other religion, and he was ready to accept the good thing from other religions. Same way, he was ready to and willing to accept humanity from Christianity. So that's again something which you need to remember and write. So Rajaram Mohan Roy was actually focused on introducing modern science, natural science, right? And also social sciences, mechanics you saw, and then Voltaire's philosophy you saw, that is political science related. 1828 at Calcutta, he established Brahmotsabha, later known as Brahmosamaj. And people like Debendranath Tagore, actually father of Rabindranath Tagore, and Keshub Chandra Sen joined the Samaj and spread the movement outside Bengal. Especially Keshub Chandra Sen made it an all India movement. Guys, now if you look into the objective of the Brahmo Samaj, they can ask you in prelims as well as in mains. One of the most important objective is promotion of monotheism. Monotheism means what? Belief in one God, oneness of God. So this is what you mean by monotheism. And he translated Rig Veda and 6 Upanishads in Bengali language, and he concluded that the idea of one God is already there in Hindu religion, but it has been misconceived. There are a lot of Devis and Devdas, and these are actually misinterpreted and misconceived. There are actually, interpretation, or the real thing is related to Rig Veda. It is mentioned that there is only one God and he is formless. So if you see, it is written in Rig Veda that Iva, Ika, Dityam. There is only one God. So Rig Veda 8:127. So that means there is only one God. Iva, Ika, Dityam. And then Na Pratima Asti. That means he has no image. So that is God is one and he has no image, he is formless. So it's already there in Rig Veda. So Hindu religion itself is telling that there is only one God and he is formless, there is no image. But there are a lot of changes which has happened, and we started worshipping multiple gods and Devis and Devdas and all. So there is a polytheism means what? Belief in multiple God. Pantheism means what? Believing everything as God. You see a river, you worship. You see an animal, you worship. You see a tree, you worship. You see a stone, you worship. So this is what I mean by pantheism. So now you will see these culture, right? Polytheism, pantheism, etc. So this is most society, the common belief is this: polytheism and pantheism. So Rajaram Mohan Roy, on the basis of his study of Vedas and Upanishad, he concluded that God is one and he is formless. Secondly, because of that itself, he opposed idol worship. So if you ask me what are the objectives of Brahmotsabha, these are the two main objectives. There are other also. I'll be discussing in the next session. So promotion of monotheism, and they opposed idol worship. See, what is the ideology? The ideology is belief in one God. So when you believe in one God, it is belief in one God is actually equal to belief in one mankind. So this can lead to equality. If you believe in one God, that is a belief in one mankind. Everyone is equal. If you believe in multiple gods, that will create inequality. That means multiple mankind. That lead to hierarchy. That is actually the reason for this caste system and all. So belief in one God is what he's actually preaching for, equality. Okay. So multiple God means multiple caste, and that lead to hierarchy. That leads to in non-egalitarian society. So his solution to end this multiple caste and hierarchy in India is what? Belief in one God. So end this multiple God concept, that means end this polytheism concept, and must approve the concept of God as one and formless, and achieve one mankind. But it's not so easy, right? Especially Indian society, Indian culture, and it's very traditional. People are not willing to change. People are not ready to change. That's the mindset. People are not rational. Rajaram Mohan Roy is like a rare case. I'm talking about that period, right? So that was the issue which he actually faced. And in fact, his family also opposed this. And the practice of sati was actually banned in 1829 by British. Who was the Governor General who was responsible for that? Lord William Bentinck. So he passed anti-sati resolution. So under anti-sati resolution, sati was declared as culpable homicide, not amounting to murder. And if someone is instigating the female to commit suicide, he will be getting a rigorous imprisonment for 10 years. 10 years of rigorous imprisonment was given for those who instigate or compel the female to commit suicide. So anti-sati resolution was passed. So sati was, there is no need to explain what is sati. It's a religious funeral. So if the husband has died, the wife has to jump into the funeral pyre. Guys, when the husband has died, the lady is emotionally so weak. So she don't know what she's doing, right? She is willing to do anything at that point of time. But the moment she enter into the fire, then she will realize the pain and issues. Then she tried to come out of it, but the people will not allow that. So Rajaram Mohan Roy was against this, and he tried to save women. So, his sister also committed sati. So emotionally that time you will be doing it, but that's not something which you are supposed to do, right? So he saved 2 female on spot with the help of some volunteers, and he started that movement because his sister committed that. And then they tried to, pursue families, and he was successful in doing it with 2 female, right? And then obviously not only his society, the opposition start coming from your family first. Okay, and despite all this, he did that, and he had to leave his house. And in 1829, because of these efforts and all, under Lord William Bentinck, anti-sati resolution was passed, and sati was declared as culpable homicide, not amounting to murder, and maximum 10 years of rigorous imprisonment was given for those who instigate the woman or female to commit suicide. So the slowly sati have removed from Indian society, and he also opposed caste hierarchy, especially untouchability, but there was no specific movement against untouchability like sati. Okay, so he also supported women education, and he opened school for girls in 1825. So these contribution you remember, guys, and I'll be continuing with the literary contribution and other things in the next session. So thank you so much for watching, guys. See you soon in the next session. I hope you understood whatever I have discussed. I took time because I started with the introduction of socio-religious reform movement. See you guys.